short, so it shouldn't take too much of your time. But feel free to put questions in the chat, and then at the end, we'll also open it up for Q&A. So I'm just going to jump right into it, unless, Sandy, you have anything you need to... No? Okay. I almost hit the leave button. That wouldn't have been good. So let's try this. Can you see my screen? Perfect.
It's in, we're seeing the whole.
I know.
Okay.
If I do this, then it's going to cover your faces and I can't see anybody, but that's okay. We'll do it. I'll fly blind. I'm putting my trust in the team to stop me if there's questions that need to be answered. And you'll all see who's coming and going. All right, so we're here to talk about the new early childhood special education monitoring tool that has been put in the Grants4ME system. Most of you are probably familiar with the Grants4ME system, so it shouldn't be too big of a learning curve. I wanted to start the PowerPoint with just a few basic questions that you might have, and that is, who has access to the monitoring tool? The monitoring tool is available to anybody who has been assigned the role of LEA Pre-K Special Education Monitoring Director within the Grants4ME system. So that you probably do not have one of these in your district. And if you do, it may be for your ESEA monitoring tool. So it's probably not the person that you'll have working here. How do you get that person assigned to that role? If you have a staff person who's already in the Grants4ME system, you can reach out to Sarah, and Sarah will make sure that that role gets added to them. If it's a new staff member who currently does not exist in the Grants4ME system, we're asking you to reach out to your district Grants4ME administrator, and they can assign the role and put you into the system. If you don't know who your administrator is in your district, you can reach out to Sarah, and she can tell you who the administrator is. Where can you find the tool in Grants4ME? If you're familiar with the Grants4ME system, all of your tools can be found on the left-hand navigation menu. That's always available to you in every screen that you're in. Can you use federal IDA funds for early childhood special education? You certainly may use your IDA funds for early childhood special education. 619 funds are utilized for children 3 to age 5, and 611 funds are used 3 to age 22. Will there be a change in your IDA 611 and 619 allocations? Yes. So for each student with an IEP that transitions into your district, the base allocation that was formerly with CDS will transfer to your district for each of those students. And who do you contact with questions? Sarah McLaughlin is the lead on the fiscal lead on the ECSE team, and she can help you with pretty much anything that you could possibly want. She knows all the great contacts. Oops. So let's jump into how to navigate the tool. The first thing, and I'm going to start really basic for those who have not had any experience in Grants4ME, the very first screen that you see when you log into the Maine egrantsmanagement.com system is the sign-in screen. If you do not have a password to get into Grants4ME, you've never been in there before, you want to put your email address in and then hit forgot your password once the role has been assigned to you. So once you have a role assigned to you and you hit forgot your password, the system will send a temporary password to your email, and then you can come and log in and set the password that you'd like to have. again at the bottom of the screen, and we're going to share the slides as a resource. You can contact Sarah McLaughlin if you need to have that rule assigned to you. The first thing you see when you log in, again, this left-hand navigation menu is your directional mechanism. You want to click in monitoring. As soon as you click into monitoring and monitoring instruments, this is what you will see for a screen. We have these little reminders over here that tell you to always be sure that your drop-down year is the year that you're intending to be working in. So if you were submitting a report for the last quarter, the quarter 4 of last year, you'd want to change this drop-down to 2025. And that doesn't seem really important now that we're at the half-year mark, but you roll into 2026 and then you still owe your last quarter report. You just have to remember to go backwards. Once you click into the monitoring tool itself, there's a little reminder here that in Grants4ME, you cannot edit anything until you put the tool into draft started status. So the first thing you'll want to do is click that draft started. It'll come up and ask you if you're sure that's what you want. You say yes. And then it will allow you to start using your tool, your little worksheets down below. The first step for you is your total expenditure sheet. You click in, this is what it looks like. You want to make sure that you put an entry in here for each and everything on your detailed trial balance for Fund 2213. You can add rows. You'll see that there's three costs posted to your function code 1000 instruction. That's because I added 2 rows. You'll see there's only 1 row available here for out of district placement, but I can add several roles to this, as many as I need. Same thing with extended school year, CEIS. This list goes down, so that there's a place for all of your expenditures. Just so that you know how we're utilizing this information, my team at the end of the quarter, Sarah, primarily, what she's doing is she's taking what you have put into your expenditure sheet here, and she's reconciling that to your detailed trial balance for 2213. And she's also reconciling back to what you have for an upload in NEO for that quarter. And all 3 of those need to balance. So moving on to step 2, you've put in all of your expenditures. Now you have an opportunity to talk a little bit about any high cost out of district expenditures that you may have. And it's a very simple little worksheet. You simply put in the name of the placement. And this one I made up, ABC, Special Purpose Private School. You need to put the student ID number for the student enrolled. The placement type, it could be a private special purpose. It could be behavioral day treatment. Could be another SAU. There's a drop down list of potential placements. You want to put the start date the child was enrolled in that program, and you'll notice that the end date is blank because this child is still enrolled at ABC Special Purpose Private School. So you don't want to fill in the end date until the child exits the program. You need to let us know whether the child is a state agency client or not. So that's a yes or no answer. And then you put in the total amount. Now, this amount is also going to be on your expenditure report. This is not in lieu of putting this on. You still want to put the cost for tuition in your expenditure report. Your expenditure report needs all of the entries on your detailed trial balance. This is just a pullout for us to look at to say, okay, these costs are most likely above and beyond a per pupil allocation. Same thing with high cost in district. It's simply a little sheet that gives you an opportunity to tell us what is happening with this kiddo in your district and why you think that they are above and beyond the standard per pupil cost. In this example, it was nursing. We had a medically fragile child who needed nursing services, and it cost me $10,000. Is it a reoccurring cost? Yes, I have to pay that every single month. And again, you can hit the add a row, and you can add as many of these as you like. This is a great way for you to send us notes saying, I know that my budget is a little outside of the allocation, but these are the considerations that I would like you to look at. Related documents. Related documents are familiar to anybody who works within Grants4ME, but it's simply a place to upload documents for us to look at. And this is where we ask you to upload your detailed trial balance for Fund 2213. And if you do have high cost in or out of district lines in the tool, you'll want to make sure that you just send us any invoice support for that. And then the last part of this is just your schedule. At the 30 days after the end of every quarter, we like to see the reporting submitted. So this is a timeline here. And then we have two other sections. We have the history log and we have the create a comment section. And I just want to point these out because they're kind of they're a cool tool for you and a resource. The history log is basically a snapshot of the report status and gives you a record of any questions that have been asked or any concerns that were raised and the response from DOE to them, as well as any approvals that have been given. So it's a historical log of all of that information. And then create a comment. It's just the vehicle you use to get your comments into the history log. So it's a cool tool to use. It's something that your district can utilize to go back and see what happened, when things were approved, what was talked about. It's a really handy tool. There's two sections that are still in development to this, and these are the sections that are really going to be the most useful for districts. It's basically your allocations performance at a glance. So your superintendents will be able to log in and see your allocation, your expenditures, excess revenue, if allocation adjustments were necessary, that they were made. Basically, they'll be able to tell that your allocation funds are performing to cover 100% of those costs. This is a really cool tool that's coming. And the second thing that we're working on is a student count tracker to be able to put those quarterly student counts into the system. So the last slide, and we are nearing the end, I just wanted to throw in some resources on Fund 2213 and the Early Childhood Special Education account coding. All of your expenditures should be posted to Fund 2213. All of them. Even those expenses that you send to me separately to be reimbursed through the setup costs funds that we have available, those also will get posted to 2213, and the revenue that comes back to you will be posted to 3128, just like your allocation funds. There's two other potential revenue sources for districts, and that's billing Maine Care for pre-K student. We want to make sure that you use Maine Care revenue code 4508, and that is so seed does not get assessed to your district. So it's very important that you don't use 4585 for that revenue, that you post that to 4508. And then there's state agency clients. CDS has many state agency clients that they bill the state agency client fund for. So your district is likely to have at some point a state agency client that you bill on the EFS 04. And so any revenue coming in for the pre-K students would want to come in through 3122. And then just to plug at the very end, this is the model chart of accounts that Paula's school finance team has put together, and it's on the website. So just wanted to throw that in as a resource for you if you're looking. There is one on the website. And basically we're down to the questions, and I'll stop sharing because I like to see people.
Barb, there are some questions in the chat. The first one was, for clarity, the monitoring position is intended to be fiscal oversight, correct?
The monitoring position is intended to be fiscal oversight. Yes.
Okay. And then Deb Alden asked, if the child is a state agency client, does the DOE pay directly to the special purpose private school, or in this case, pre-K?
We do at this point. We do at this point, but that's subject. There has been some discussion about the problem with paying direct is the district doesn't get their eyes on that invoice. And it's really the district that knows what services are being provided. The whole direct pay was set up so that districts would not be out of pocket even for a short period of time. And we like that model. So it's possible that we can come up with just sending the invoices after the fact to make sure they're approved by people who know what services have been asked for.
Okay. And then can you share the timeline again, please?
Sure. Let me bring it up. There we go. So essentially, are you seeing? Oh, I'm not seeing it. Essentially, your quarter one runs July through September. So 30 days after that, or 10/30, you would have your report due. Quarter two runs October through December. So January 31st, the end of the following month, you would have a report due. Quarter three is January through March. And again, that would be April 30th. And your last quarter is April through June, and that would be due the end of July. And we'll go ahead and, like I said, the slides were really designed to be like a step-by-step instructional for you to have when you're in the process of putting the information in. But you can always reach out to me or Sarah or the team, Colleen. We've got all kinds of resources. The last slide here is contact information for everyone on my fiscal team, as well as Aaron and Sandy. So you'll have that information available. It has all our email addresses. Any other questions on the tool or anything else ECSE related?
Barbara, I joined late. When are we starting to use the Grants4ME?
April. Okay. April 1st. Yeah, well, April 30th. It will be your third quarter that you put in.
Okay. But start the third quarter. We don't go back the full year.
No, we may end up putting that in for you. I'm not sure yet. Right now, we're capacity is an issue as far as time to do that, but I would love to have it in there for when those two pieces that are still being developed come online, so that you can see this year in a snapshot.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be important for your board, your supers, to be able to keep an eye on, is this really providing that funding, or are things kind of slipping over into the general fund? And I think it's important for them to see that it is going to cover 100%.
Thanks.
Sure. Thanks for the question. There's got to be a burning fiscal question in somebody's mind. Doesn't have to be monitoring tool. No? Okay. We have program folks too. Anybody got a program question they want to throw out? Sandy, you're off the hook.
Oh, I see one just came up in the chat. Are districts able to recoup any of the fiscal costs for oversight?
So Andrea, if you're talking about the time it takes to upload the report into the Grants4ME system, then yes, you certainly can. You are able to allocate a percentage of your fiscal business manager, if they're doing it, or one of your team. You're able to allocate a percentage of their time that is utilized to handle anything fiscal related to early childhood special education. So if they spend 10% of their time in the pre-K world here, taking care of main care billing and reporting and, whatever, you just go ahead and you're welcome.
And then Deb Alden asked, when does cohort 3 start using this? And is it used to submit your budget?
It is not used to submit your budget at this point. Quarter 3, so the end of April, will be the first report that you upload into the Grants4ME system.
For cohort 3.
Oh,
so it won't be
gosh.
until
It will be the end of the first quarter. So July through September, it will be due October 30th. Oop, somebody just got here. Andrea, you're welcome. I can always count on Andrea for a good question. All right, well, I don't want to hold your time if nobody has any questions. Somebody, a few of you might get a chance to have a sandwich or something in between. That would be nice.
Deb Alden, do you have a question? No, you're not raised. Okay, I saw you raise your hand. Maybe you're saying goodbye. Yes. Okay, bye. Thank you, everybody.